soul of the city.
What's going on, St. Louis City fans? Welcome to Soul of the City. Today is Wednesday, April the 19th. And this weekend, we are up against a team that is, I wouldn't say they're the greatest in the MLS. They're Colorado Rapids.
They're 11th, actually, in the West.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Not so good this year.
Yeah, they have 1 win, 4 draws, and 3 losses. So, yeah, they're not doing too great.
Not too successful.
I wouldn't say that's the whole tale, but
True. That's not the whole story.
Yeah, it's not the whole story, but they've definitely been struggling for some results. Yeah, they'll be more of a test than I think we are. A lot of our fans are putting them down for.
The way it looks in the MLS is any team could win at just about any time, and so there's always a surprise factor going into every single game that can't be denied.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very true. I actually saw an Alexi Lalas tweet about that, and he cited the salary cap and the expansion draft and stuff like that as reasons for why the MLS is so,
has so much parity.
Yeah, so much parity, and why anyone can win any game. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think that the salary cap is like a good thing for all sporting in general, just because levels
people
the playing
take advantage
field.
of it.
Yeah, levels the playing field. It's nice. But there's definitely ways that you can kind of get around that with the whole designated player thing, as well as there are a lot of bad coaches in this league and bad players, specifically goalies, man. I swear I watch MLS goalies every week on some highlights, just checking out some other teams, and I'm like, bro, there's no way this guy is a professional soccer player.
The expansion draft is, I think, such an interesting thing because when you look at the expansion draft players that St. Louis City picked up, how you can totally use it to your advantage in a way that isn't around in any other league. The only way to get to the EPL is by winning lower divisions, and that's it. So it's definitely interesting to think about the parity.
Yeah. But on the topic of the Colorado Rapids, they've been around forever. They were one of the founding clubs in the MLS. They have been to 2 MLS Cup finals, one in 1997, which they lost, and then one in 2010, which they won, but no other successes since then. So is that our favorite owner over there, Mr. Kronke, that owns them now?
Kronke and his little gremlin friends, Enterprises, I think they're called. Yeah. Those folks are horrible. All they care about is turning a profit.
Yep.
And I hope that, Carnell or whoever's job it is really drills that into our players, how we're going up against Kronke's team and how St. Louis hates Stan Kronke. Because I really hope that they, this one means a lot to St. Louis, I think.
Yeah,
a victory.
Come out at 60 miles an hour and just ram it.
It's just so interesting how as an expansion team, it's our first year in the league. There's already teams that we can look to that have St. Louis context that only we would understand
We've already got bad blood with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kansas City is just built in. Colorado built in. Rams sad.
Yeah, big sad.
Yeah, but anyway, going back to the Rapids form, so we mentioned they had 1 win. That was actually against Sporting KC, probably the worst team in the MLS right now.
Yep,
no wins. They did tie LAFC and Austin FC a couple weeks ago, which is
a good result.
Very good result against 2. Austin's not that good this year, I guess. They've kind of underwhelmed, but
they've been struggling.
LA is undefeated. So.
Yeah, they're a very talented side. I mean, they're pulling players from all around the world to play for their club.
Yeah, dude. If they win their game in hand, they're above us.
Yeah,
they are technically who we're chasing until we're not.
Yep.
So, but yeah, going to that Kansas City game, that wasn't. I don't really understand why they allowed Kansas City to dominate that game, because Kansas City had 60% possession and 18 shots to their 40% possession and 8 shots, which is not necessarily the way that the rest of their games go.
Yeah.
In that LAFC game, they were actually kind of the first half, if you go watch the highlights, is pretty much all LAFC, and then it comes out in the second half and it's pretty insane. They won the possession battle 51-49.
Colorado did?
Yeah. Colorado did. Won the shot battle 14-11, and then somehow ended up with a draw when I thought that they looked like the better team. So it is a on any given Sunday kind of league. So
it is helpful that they don't have that many wins, and they don't have that many goals either.
Yeah.
And after only giving up one against Cincinnati, I mean, our goals against record, it's just really that game against Seattle where we were really wide open. So
big formation change.
The defense I think will be a lock. I think the other thing that's beneficial for St. Louis City is the fact that we already went out to Salt Lake City and played at elevation and did really well, won 4-0. So the lads have dealt with the elevation before and will be probably fine playing it.
And I know that it is, I think, statistically relevant that it's like the hardest to play in Colorado, no matter the sport. Like Denver has a great home record, like the Broncos for the NFL, as well as the Rockies have like the best home record, I think, in the MLB over like history, just because it's like the hardest place to play. But it is the easiest place to hit a home run.
Yeah.
But I think they do go out and train there for like a week, or at least wear those masks that you were talking about in one of the podcasts where they restrict the airflow.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're not struggling that hard.
Yeah. So for my research, it looks like the Rapids line up in a 3-4-3. So on defense, that kind of looks more like a back five. And then the two center mids will drop in and the two wingers up front will come back. And they don't really press that much until the ball kind of gets into their half. And then they kind of, swarm the player and try and get the ball back. But, yeah, I would say they pretty much run a mid-block on defense.
Yeah. They it's an interesting formation because they like chalk it down as a 3-4-2-1. But their one winger that I would say is like the player that stood out to me, Max. He will slide to either side of those two and kind of play that like pressing wing role once it gets into their half. But it does look like a 3-4-3, especially when they get the ball in attack.
Yeah.
So do they start like three center backs?
Yeah.
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 With two wing backs.
And we saw that against Cincinnati? Did they have?
Yeah, we just played them.
Yeah.
And we kind of were able to get through that. So that's kind of a good sign for this game.
Good indicator.
So on offense though, the Rapids, so their wingbacks in the midfield will come short to kind of help out the center backs who have the ball. And then at the same time, their wingers up front will kind of try to make runs in behind on either side to really stretch out our midfield and our defense. So it'll be really interesting to see if they can hit like a long diagonal across our team and just completely take out the entire press. If they do that, then that's bad news for us.
Do the Rapids have rapid players on the wings? Are there players rapid out there?
Yeah, I would say that Max is a very rapid, tricky winger. I don't know if he has the finishing in his bag. He hasn't scored many goals or assisted many
so far.
Yeah,
Does he play on the right or the left?
He's the one that I was saying kind of. I think he prefers the left because he is right-footed, so that kind of inverted winger role. But he has shifted over to the right when needed. But the connection that him and Nicholson have on the left-hand side seems to be where most of the danger comes from for them, other than those like long balls over the top that try and break down the defense.
Nervitsky and Alm potentially on that side if we stick with the same formation.
Correct.
Yeah. Do you guys think we'll swap back 4-2-3-1, or do you think we keep the 4-4-2 chugging along?
I think 4-4-2 is here to stay. Because I don't know. I think Stroud and Alm, like, they're the best wingers that we have.
They are impact players.
Yeah, I don't think they're the most, we've been saying it all year, they're not the most technically skilled, but with them on the field, the team just, like, it's a different level.
It chugs. It moves in a way that it doesn't when they're not on the field.
I totally agree. Stroud is that chippy guy who will get in somebody's face, who will make a potentially reckless challenge to stir up some feelings, and then Alm is incredibly quick and gets in behind, but also both of them press so well.
And it's funny because it seems like Alm is like a very calm and quiet guy.
Yeah.
Which is like the opposite of
The
Stroud.
polar opposite of Stroud.
Mhm.
Yeah, Stroud's got to go get his yellow card, and then Alm's got to get his nasty laser of a goal.
Definitely.
Dude, Alm doesn't look that crazy fast, except for like those first few steps when he's like starting. His acceleration speed has got to be like insane because he just moves so fast off the jump, and I don't feel like
he almost catches defenders by
surprise.
Like,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, by the time they're turning around, he's already caught up level to them and is making their own pass.
Right.
He's been impressive, and we have to give credit where it's due. I think we were probably harsh on them towards the beginning of the season, and
Agreed.
I mean their value is there, and it's obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think another reason why the 4-4-2 is here to stay, especially this game, when you have 3 center backs, having 2 forwards up top kind of lets you have a player in each of the spaces in between the center backs. And I think that that's something that Klaus and Gioacchini can both take advantage of. And even if they're just drawing the defenders, back towards their own goal and creating space for Leuven or Vasilev or, whoever's running around in the midfield, I think that's why 4-4-2 is here to stay.
Yeah.
I think that we will definitely start seeing the best of Leuven in terms of an attacking sense with this formation because he's the one with the creative license to go forward. Vasilev will stay back, which I'm still skeptical of. I'd feel like he didn't get that tested last game, and he did look good in the role, but I do want to see Blom back in the lineup whenever he comes back.
Definitely.
I think he's just such a valuable player in that role.
It makes total sense too. In the 2 games, the draw and the loss against Minnesota and Seattle, Leuven didn't get to play an attacking role very much. He was dropped a lot further back, and he didn't quite have the creativity. We've said it on the pod before, the Kevin De Bruyne of the MLS. And I think it's true. I think the more time that he has in that creative role, and even on the dead ball, we're gonna see it. It's gonna shine.
Yeah, that whole right side, Alm and Gio are really good at winning free kicks, and that's where we can punish them with our gigantic Donkey Kong center backs.
Yes,
exactly. Donkey and Diddy.
And Diddy. I feel like Hebert and Parker are probably more Donkey Diddy just based on size alone.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's a
Hebert's a little smaller.
Yeah.
Hebert is a little smaller, but he is also the one with more goals in the air, so
True.
he gets up there.
You got to hand it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, besides Blom, I don't think we're missing anyone else right on the roster. No fresh injury concerns or anything.
Is Nilsson coming back?
Well, yeah, he's still out.
I think he was projected for May. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's what they said at the start of the season. So, yeah, I don't know if he's training with the team or individually or anything, even back on the field yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Rapids are missing some key people. So their captain, well, he was supposed to be their captain at the beginning of the year, Jack Price. He tore his Achilles in the second game. And this is a guy who appeared for Wolverhampton Wanderers in England 115 times and came up through their academy. So, he has a lot of European experience, albeit in the championship. He never actually played in the Prem. So he's out. And then their designated player center back, their Danish center back that they bought, at the end of last season, he got a concussion in the game versus Sporting Kansas City, so he is questionable as well. So two of their big players are probably not going to play, which is pretty huge.
Yeah, that is huge.
Concussion 2 weeks later, he maybe could.
It was like
come back. Game time decision, maybe.
It was a bad concussion.
I was about to say it depends on the concussion. If it's like major,
fair.
Minor, there's a lot of variables at play there. And I'm sure they're taking it very seriously because that's become a very hot button issue in a lot of sports, specifically the NFL. But the MLS has got to take it seriously too.
Definitely. Yeah, that's why you see stoppages for head injuries all the time.
And it was like a 7-minute stoppage of play to get this guy, because he hit his head on another player and then landed on the ground on his head. And so then like the trainers rushed over and were surrounding him, and eventually he sat up and he just like looked really like dazed and out of it and confused, and so they had to stretcher him off. But
Yeah.
I
Get
think,
well soon, just not that soon.
yeah, not soon enough to play us.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, guys, we're freaking top of the league.
Yeah.
We're back at it. We're back to business.
I think that we should take this game seriously, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did this all throughout the first 5 games. We're riding high. We're beating everybody. Beat Real 4-0.
Yeah.
We're just chill a little.
Yeah.
I just
stay a
want
bit humble.
a comfortable win, like 2-0, and we just look the better side and don't give away any great opportunities.
Mhm.
Something like that would be perfect.
Do you think we could play possession based in the 4-4-2? I feel like a lot of what we do is
Mhm.
we try to move the ball up the pitch quick. But
Which is where we're probably at our best, because we let
Mhm.
the technical players do what they do best
Mhm.
and create opportunities in the chaos. But I think if we have to, we will see players come on that can create. Like
Yeah.
in this game, if we're still tied 0-0, like in late into that Minnesota game, I want to see Jensen and like Celio come on and
Mhm.
Pedro, if not start Pedro, just because we don't think we'll be under that much attack.
yeah.
But like those two wingers, they just want to run at people and
Mhm.
create chances and send it into the box for Gio and Klaus. And I want to see them get some meaningful minutes where
Mhm.
they have some time to get settled in as well as create a bunch of chances.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, 60th minute substitutions like normal. I mean, that's what we were seeing in those first 3 weeks when Stroud and Alm were regular starters. Was they were coming off in the 60th minute pretty
Doing a lot of
consistently. Yeah. Yeah, and at high altitude. So yeah, I would love to see those substitutions.
Yeah.
Celio looks so talented.
He does.
I hope he gets more time as a substitute.
Yeah, a stat I really found interesting from the Cincy game. So Celio came on in the 82nd minute, and he ended with the most dribbles completed out of any other player.
Sauce.
So, I mean, I don't know.
it's that Brazilian sauce.
Yeah,
Yes.
seriously. I
Skill.
would love to give him more time and see if, he can earn himself an assist.
And
or-
I want
or
to see
goal.
what the Brazilian chem link is like with Klaus and him. I want to
True.
see that green link.
Absolutely.
I know it's there. You guys want to do score predictions? I'll say I like your 2-0, so I'm going to steal it before you can even say it.
That's
I think you already
sick.
said it.
I did.
All right. I'll say 1-0. I think a 1-0 win.
Just a 1-0 win.
Yeah. I think it's definitely possible. I'm game for St. Louis to have their foot on the pedal, but ultimately play for a win.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be pretty close, like Ian was alluding to. I think that their long balls might pose us a problem if they can really catch us off guard. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt to score 1, but I still think we win 2-1.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right.
Yeah. 2-1's not. I wouldn't say it's a bad day anytime we win,
Yeah.
but getting scored on by a team that we don't think has that much attacking threat is probably not great, for the future. I think that we should definitely look to start Pedro in this game. I think that if we're playing a lower opposition and we want to see what he's capable of in terms of like creation,
Mm-hmm.
this is the team to do it against. They will be defensive. They will allow us to have the ball if we want it. And he's the guy that's going to whip in meaningful crosses and play just like...
Do you not think John Nelson's up to the task? I felt like he looked pretty phenomenal against Cincinnati. I would be game for him to bag another start for the club.
He's our most tenured player, like I said on Sunday, so he will probably start. I'd assume so. But his attacking threat, it's just so hit and miss.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's nutmegging a player, and other times he's blasting the ball so hard at Gio that he can't even handle it and get a shot away almost.
Yeah.
So in that last 20 minutes of the Minnesota game, you were able to see the value of Pedro. He was still defensively sound as well as playing a beautiful ball into Klaus that should have resulted in a goal if he just squares it to Celio.
I will say, let me just have one more against the Selmir Pedro start, is that the Cincinnati goal was like instant result of him and Jensen subbing
Dude,
onto
but that
the
was
field.
Jensen's fault because Jensen
Yeah.
loses it and then the ball gets played not even near Pedro. Like
It stays on that right hand side though. Is
It
all I'm gonna
does,
say.
but it wasn't Pedro's man. It was Parker, I think, that was marking the guy that
Alright.
got the ball.
I would be down to see Selmir Pedro sub on if we, if it's close at the end of the game and we sub on Adeniran. Because Gio maybe isn't the best at hitting the balls. It seems like he's maybe not as strong as Klaus and Adeniran, but
in the area.
If we, are resorting to that level, which we have done at the end of games that are close, then I say Silmir Pedro. He's definitely got the cross on him.
Dude, Adeniran is a freaking unit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's
big
giant.
and he's fast.
I think he's like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
And he's like a little lanky, but defenders can't handle that size unless they're just as big as you.
If he's been in training just working on his finishing, bring him on. I'm ready to see
We don't
it.
even need him to use his feet. He just got to use that big old noggin. He's got to hit it with his head.
That's
Yeah,
it.
cranium.
I think that's all we got on the Rapids.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy. Just go out to Colorado, enjoy yourself, maybe enjoy some of the festivities that they have there. We've got it here now, but at least bring home a win.
Whatever this guy on the end's talking about, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Win or die trying.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
See you people Saturday at 8:30 our time. Thanks for joining us. Love you guys.
Peace. Thank you for watching this episode of Soul of the City, brought to you by First Touch Media and Anchor FM. Make sure to check us out on YouTube at First Touch Media, and all of our socials are at First Touch 314. Thank you for watching.